What is going on, guys? Brand New American, can you hear me, man? I've got G-Bizzle will be joining me here in a second. Can y'all hear me? Or Brand New American channel member, can you hear me, my man? Mike McLaughlin, welcome, buddy. I'm glad I'm being heard. I just figured, Crispy Critter, welcome, brother, channel member. I figured we'd just do kind of a short impromptu live when I found out that OCD was on vacation and when when Zach said today he wasn't going to be going live. I thought I'd jump on here, maybe have a friend. Louie, welcome, buddy, channel member. Jump on here. Craig Wilkes, well, good to see you, bud. And just kill a little time before we all go over to Edgy American. I was going to be shirtless for this live. I actually had my shirt off, but I realized it was way too cold in my house and it would just be too much for everybody. But I'm going to have a guest come join us here shortly. And I wanted to show you guys something I got in. A couple of things, actually that one of them is this Miguron Polonia. Has anybody tried this? Joe Isabella, channel member, what's up? This is a slicey, very the same size and weight of my Chavez Street. It's also G10. I weighed both of these in the review that'll come out, and this weighs about 2/10 of an ounce more than the Chavez. But a lot of people say, "Hey, D Metal, what's up?" That they think that the Miguron, the new budget line, which this knife was $47 on Amazon, they're still available. But that this guy, and it's 14C G10, but that they're a little thick, which they are. But I don't look at it as necessarily a dainty EDC knife. I can kind of embrace the fact that it's thicker because it's very, very slicey. It's very substantial. And I think for a work knife, hey, Jay Corsicata, Cotton, Jay, good to see you, buddy. But this knife right here, guys, I have put through some paces, just like I think I told y'all my favorite budget knife of 2023 is not the Pyrite, even though I love that knife. It's the Miguron Moirel, or I mispronounced that. But this knife right here, the Polonia, I don't know if it's gotten any fanfare, but it doesn't have a regular flipper. It doesn't have a front flipper. It's just a really nice set of thumb studs. And what's great about this knife, hey man, what's up? Another thing, besides the G10 being just on point, like I said, very Spyderco-y, very high quality, but it's all T8s. You got T8s for your thumb studs if you want to take those off for sharpening or modding or whatever, but you've got T8s here, T8s on your pocket clip, real simple construction, a lanyard hole for my lanyard loving brothers, and just a really good knife. I've been blown away by the three Miguron budget knives that I bought recently. The one that I probably, if I had to judge them, that's my least favorite is the one that they had out in a Tony Boombox. What's up? They had it out in a more premium knife. It's called the it begins with a P, but now I've gone blank on it. I'll think of it in a second and I'll just blurt it out. But that's a new knife that came in. I don't know if I showed that to you guys yet, but and then I had a couple of other yeah, the pocket clips on all the Migurons, Louis, are titanium clips. That's another thing that's just kind of an upgrade. And they've also got, you can't really see it in my view here, but they've also got this little titanium ring around the pivot. So again, I've just been really pleased and could recommend to anyone with a clear conscience that for $47, this is probably the best under $50 knife I've handled, and I'm glad to have them all. And that's from somebody who has kind of curtailed D Metal, what's up? Curtailed their Roman M, what's up? Curtailed their budget knife buying only to save money for other knives that I want to buy. But what I got today that made me think what was really, really cool, and I got this because of a recommendation from our brother G-Metal. Um, this is a brother or watchman, brother by watchman. Mike McLaughlin, welcome, buddy. New member. Thank you, my friend. There's some members only content you can watch. I'm adding emojis as we get enough members. But as you guys know, I've kind of jumped into I won't call it a rabbit hole, but I'll call it a slip joint hole. I started out with one slip joint, swore, first of all, I'd never have a slip joint, had no use for it. And since I've acquired, Jacob, how are you? One Moon, what's up, channel member? I've acquired about 12, and I've got one that's coming Monday. But this is a Watchman brother that G-Bizzle, G-Ball, told me was a knife I ought to check out. They're only sold through Amazon, kind of similar to what the Rough Rider Reserve is doing with Smoky Mountain knives. I wouldn't be surprised if these aren't made in the same Chinese factory, but it is a Chinese knife, so I'll say that up front. But it's handmade where you've got your nickel bolster, nickel springs, nickel liners, and then you've got a VG10 blade with a really strong walk and talk, kind of a unique little pattern, micarta handles, 37 bucks. So, had no problem. See how strong it is? I've actually got to hold it right here to close it. Now, the weird thing is, I don't know if it's the blade shape, but that is the half stop. And it is a very distinct half stop. So it's not going past there till I push it past there. But again, I don't know. Jeffrey Dawson, channel member, greetings and salutation, brother. Joe Isabella, I think I said hey to you and One Moon, but if not, hello again. But I don't know how you guys feel about slip joints. I've really, after I got my first one, which was the Ohio River Jack, this one right here, and I got it thinking I wouldn't like it just to try it out. And I immediately found out that I like the tactile, even though it's not a fidget knife in the terms that I fidget with a knife. For me, opening and closing it is very tactile. Hey, Alice. Welcome, Allie. And I find that it's just a tactile fidgety knife. I can look at this as a fidget knife. And more importantly, I find them as very utilitarian. It kind of takes the place or can complement my fixed blade carry. So I always carry one of these now in my left pocket. But when I bought this one, my mind, and I'm convinced it's an addict's mind, because I was an addict, am an addict, always will be an addict, even though I'm using knives now, which are healthier than what I was using. But I noticed that I knew it was made by QSP from Austin had let me know that. And I knew that they were flat grinds. And I knew a story that I'm not even going to get into here, but in either case, I saw right after I got this and realized there was a place in my collection for slip joints, I saw the QSP Hedgehog, which I'd kind of seen before. Hey, Sharp Guy ATX, listening in the shed, my man. I'm glad you're here. Jake from Ohio State, what is up? Brian, what's up? So I wanted to get a Hedgehog because it is a hollow grind, also manufactured by QSP. And I can tell you, I really use that tip when I'm opening packages. Pocket Stuff, what's up? And it works very well. And this is, again, for me, from the knives that I'd been acquiring, I've been able to get several knives for what I feel like are a very fair price. This one, I chose the carbon fiber because I'm a weirdo. It was $101 before my discount, or no, excuse me, it was $81 before I used my White Mountain knives. I don't know if I used Tri-State 10 or Lefty 10, somebody there. But you can get this knife, which I almost wish I did, in micarta, and it's like $55. They have it in the green micarta, and it has just been a great slip joint. Uh, Lefty had sent me a couple of slips when I bought one from him. He threw a couple of extras in there, which made me have 3 slips and only 2 slip joints. So that left me in a dilemma where I got my first Boker. So I'm not going to run through all the slip joints that I've acquired since, because I think you guys have probably seen most of them. But I did want to bring one more out here because I would think that anybody that's not a slip joint lover or doesn't have a slip joint, but is looking for a medium sized knife that has the thinnest blade of anything you'll have in your collection and will be the sliciest knife in your collection, this is a Max Ace Beetle. It's the Beetle S. And the Beetle S, this particular one that I got at White Mountain Knives, has this raindrop carbon fiber and titanium bolsters, titanium liners, M390 blade. The one that's still in stock, and this won't come back in stock, but the one that's still in stock has a white ivory bone type looking handle, which is very elegant, and the titanium bolsters and the M390 blade. And I think they're $148, which is a lot before you put in your 10% discount. But for the materials, and this thing has not only a half stop, but it's got several stops along the way. So I would say, from a safety standpoint, this slip joint, you can open it to half stop and to full stop. But I think when Jared reviewed it, Neves at Neves Knives, he mentioned that it was kind of like a ratchet. And it does kind of feel like that. But guys, it is .08 behind the or on the spine of this knife. It's a tall flat grind on this M38 or M390, and it's so slicey. And the handle is just ergonomically pleasing because it's neutral. It's probably the largest or one of the largest slip joints I have, and I carry it just in my traditional pocket knives, medium size slip. It's the one that right now has a knife that came in over the weekend that I was going to show you guys. Edgy American, we're not showing slip joints. Channel member, welcome, brother. I hope you've only seen one and I don't get 3 strikes because I was going to show them. This is the slip that I use for my modern Max Ace. But what I wanted to show you guys was a knife that I acquired from a member of the community, a good buddy of mine who will remain nameless because I don't know if he wants to be called out. But we went to the New York Custom Knife Show 2 years ago when it was in Nashville, Tennessee, before they called it the Nashville Knife Show. And there was a knife that he was specifically looking for there. And I'd not heard of them before. It's an American made company. We went to the booth, met the maker. This gentleman talked to him for a while and picked up this knife that I immediately thought, yeah, that's not anything that I would normally look at, but it's really cool. And that's kind of where that stopped. Well, fast forward about a week, and one of the other gentlemen that were with us, who might want to remain anonymous, but these are both community members, was so impressed by the knife that Buddy One had purchased that he got on the website because we talked to the maker there and found out that there would be a couple of each of these. I do too, Alice. I love that show. You've got such good access, not only to great knives, but to great people, makers. Um, but so what I did is I realized that, or my buddy realized that he could still get one of the knives that he looked at. And so he did. And over that amount of time, I've been able to really hang out with their knives. So I found out buddy number one was going to let his knife go because he felt like it had only been a safe queen and he felt like these knives needed to be used. I don't know if you just heard that thunk, but that thunk is this doodad that every time I look at it, I think of Beard of Doom. And this doodad, I wouldn't be showing it to you, but you're going to see him again. But he's kind of like a Norse dude that's got like wings on both sides of his head. He's a skull. He's made by hand by Michael Ziba. And Michael Ziba's in Brooklyn, New York, and he hand makes these knives. So this is my first, I guess you'd call it, G-Ball, thumbs up me when you're ready, buddy. I can tell you're moving around. But this is a mid-tech, but it's sourced with all American parts. And this is called the Ziba S5, and it's the Odin pattern. So when I say the Odin pattern, it's a titanium knife and it's got this mill work that is done by an artist, Michael Ziva, and somebody on his team, and it's etched in there by hand. So I don't know if you can see the skulls at the bottom. That Norse god, I think that's Odin. I don't know necessarily what that says up there. G-Ball, you thumbs up? Let me bring in G-Ball.
Yo,
And
yo.
what's up, buddy? I'm just showing off this grail. And
Ooh.
then it says Till Valhalla on the clip. But the coolest thing, besides the fact that it's a badass knife, but if you look at that backspacer, it is those same skulls made by hand,
Oh, shit.
made by Ziva. So those are jeweled, not jeweled, they're bronze skulls that are the backspacer, right? So I was showing them G-Ball, the doodad that comes with it. This was originally purchased at the New York Custom Knife Show in Nashville by a good buddy who was going to let it go, and I was able to get it from him. But you
Huh?
see that little doodad?
Yeah.
That's what the skull. That's what you're looking at in the backspacer, but the little one's kind of stacked up.
That thing, I bet that has to be hours and hours and hours of work put into that one knife, right?
You, dude, I put on the unboxing, which was really an unwrapping, and look at the inside of it. I got to get the light to hit it. Can you see the inside of it? The
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
backspacer. It has
Yeah.
some writing in there in some weird language that I don't know what it is. So I don't know what it says, but it's totally unique, right? But it's an M390. I can get in that fuller. I'm not good enough to show it off now, but I have been able to get into that fuller and give it the flick. But those titanium handles are sculpted and rounded out. It's got just
Oh,
a
and it's got like a harpoon
oh
too.
yeah, it's got a nice poon, deep blood groove, which is kind of a fuller. But yeah, when he was gonna let that go, I was like, no way. I said, and he of course made me a bro deal because he got it for table price in New York. But I urge you guys to go to zebaknives.com and not just look at the knives that he makes, but the jewelry. The reason, and I say this jokingly, but one of the reasons I was so wanting this knife was to post my first Instagram picture, which I did immediately, of it on a Countess Anne Hank. Because Countess Anne, my internet crush, if you guys don't know her and aren't following her, shame on you. You should be. She's a Michael Ziva model. So she models his
Oh.
knives, and she's also a knife lover. She has all kinds of knives, and she's got a great boyfriend who's a knife dude. But she's my internet crush, and so to be able to post that knife on the Hank that I've got, that's a Hank's Cartel, which is not Forrest Hanks. It's not the same thing, but they're made over in Serbia or wherever she is, and they've got some really rad designs, kind of risque designs. But I've got one that's got her picture on it, and she's holding the S5, which is that knife. She's not holding the Odin, and hers isn't the DLC coated blade, but totally cool. What's up, Nemo? G-Bizzle, what are you doing, buddy? Sorry you came in right when I was running through the stuff that I bought.
You're good, man. I'm listening, brother. I just finished eating and just hanging out on a Sunday, man. I finished a couple videos earlier and just been hanging out since then.
Oh, look at your labradoodle. Is that what that is?
It's a golden doodle.
Golden doodle.
Golden.
Okay.
Yeah.
They
Well,
have the best dispositions, dude.
I mean, he is one of the most affectionate dogs that I've ever been around. Like the
Look
only
at him.
thing
He just gave you the paw, just wanting you to put your hand on his head.
yeah, the only thing he wants is to be next to you pretty much. But that's a good thing, but then there's times where it's like I'll go
He
heat up
will
my
be.
coffee and he'll be right he'll come up and lay right behind me within an instant. Lay right behind me, and you almost trip over him sometimes because you're not expecting him to be just right there behind your feet,
Dude,
you
but they're
know?
the best dogs. I mean, he wants to be a lap dog because when he was a puppy, he was a lap dog, and he still feels that same way. I love it, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just like that,
I
man.
definitely, I would definitely, because a good friend of mine has a white one, and it's probably a golden doodle too. I get them confused, but the same type of thing. I mean, just the sweetest, just furry love ball, and like I would learn to deal with it, walking around it, just to have. I've got a great German Shepherd. She's a sweetheart, and I've got a cool cat, but those dogs are special, man. They really are. They're great with kids. They're
Yep.
hypoallergenic, or however you
Yep.
say that. But
Yep.
I'm digging my brother, man. Does yours have stop? Do janky a little bit like that, which is not janky, but is it got a? I've noticed it's got a really strong pull from half stop to open.
So yeah, actually they both. So the half stop on these, from what I noticed, it's actually a little past half.
Yep,
So,
little
but
less.
I
Yep.
yeah, or yeah, it's a little less than half. So, and but yeah, mine's the same way. The
What's your
pull is
tug from there to open? Because I can get a, I think it's about a 3 or 4 to open it. I don't know how to rate it, but this from half to open for me is stiff, and from half to closed half, or open to half.
so you're open to half is like a 3, and then you're half
No,
to
no,
open.
is like a 6 to 7, and I'm not sure how my scaling is, but it's very hard, and I didn't know if you could oil these knives.
Yeah, so what you want to do is open it to the half stop, right? And right where the top of that tang is hitting the back spacer, I guess you would say, the
Hmm.
spine, drop like a
Like
drop of
right
oil.
there.
Now, this is coming from Lefty, so and I'm assuming he knows,
Well, he deals with moderns, and I would go with his in. I would go with his. What's up, Mark Herrera? I would go with his
and,
in.
yeah, well, and this is coming from Lefty who, Ben Belkin told him
Yes,
how to
he's dealt with
maintain.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So and it's worked for me. The 6 or 8 or however
But
many I have.
are you talking about right here? Like I've got it now turned back like here. Are you talking about putting the drop of oil right in here?
Yep, right where the tang. So it would be technically the top part of the tang is hitting the the spine, right? You
Right, the
want to hit it.
spring.
Yeah, you want to hit a dab of oil on each corner,
Oh,
each corner right there. And then when it's closed, the same thing on each corner there. And then you want to manipulate it a bunch.
gotcha.
Like after you oil it, act
Because I feel a little grit. I feel like a little oil
yeah.
might help it out. Because this one didn't come. It came soaked in a bag, but there wasn't a lot of oil in the joint.
Yeah, that's exactly. So I'm assuming you got the micarta drop point.
Dude, the sharpest one that's come in besides the Max Ace, which doesn't count because it's got the .08 thickness blade, but this is the sharpest one from the factory of any of the 13 that I now have.
Yep.
Were all the Bokers I had to sharpen, which I don't mind because I've learned to freehand those on my little Work Sharp field sharpener. That's
Uh-huh.
how I put edges on those instead of using my fix system because it's just easy and it's helping me learn how to, how to hand sharpen. And that way
Right,
I'm
right.
holding the stone, and I've even graduated now to where I can hold my 4-inch Veneves and I can hand sharpen on those with my little traditionals.
Oh, okay. Yeah, dude. That's awesome then. And I'm telling you, if you this I tested mine as well, and the edge is phenomenal for a
Oh,
$35 knife. Wait till you pick up the Warncliffe,
I
the
am gonna
carbon
get it.
fiber.
It's in my cart.
Dude, it's even better than this one. I'm talking as far as the fit and finish and build quality is the exact same, but
And that's for knives.
the walk and talk is better, and the edge is even like it that Warncliffe is nasty razor sharp. As long as it's similar to the model that I got, like if and it sounds like your my carded drop point is identical to mine. Mine has a little grit right past the half stop to open. It's like right there. But I oiled it and I've been messing with it for about the last hour and it's starting to go away.
See, that's a
So
good point. I've got some Slickamol. I wonder if a little dab of Slickamol would work in better since it's more viscous or less viscous. It's thicker.
you want either KPL,
Ultralight,
original
I've
would
got.
work. Original would work, but something heavier would be better.
Well, that's why I'm wondering if the Slickamol, because it's got a real precise adapter that you can squirt just a tiniest bit, and that's that blue stuff that OCD has. And I've
Yeah,
loved it on washers. I've loved it on stuff like that, but it won't penetrate as quickly as an oil will. And I don't know if that's
you,
what you're after or not.
I don't have any experience with his stuff. Just and it's not. It doesn't have anything to do with him. It's just that I won a couple triple packages of KPL, and before that, I had like 2 bottles, plus I had a bottle of the Benchmade Blue Lube. So I literally have so much that I just didn't think it was time yet to buy Justin's stuff. But Lefty told me he uses KPL heavy.
And
In a
he has a lot of slip joint knowledge, so I'm
Yeah,
probably gonna go with
yeah.
that because I've got some of that. And it's funny that you say that because when I first started getting knives, dude, because I was buying all kinds of budget knives, but I would spend as much time in the accessories page. I've got more freaking blade protectants, more different oils from nano oils to
Yeah.
KPL to blue oil, you name it. I've even got the blue cleaner. And then I picked up some of the Wicked Wax and the Wicked Clean, which I really liked. I did a couple of videos on that, and I have no affiliation with them, but I have met Fred DePriest, the guy who has DePriest Ford, who brought that stuff out. I met him at Blade Show. I think it was last year in Atlanta, not in Atlanta, in Nashville at the Nashville Knife Show, and it was right after we'd done the drawing or we'd done all the it was right when Knives Live, right before the drawing, but after everybody donated the prizes. So he asked how many prize packs there were, and we said 5. And he went back to the table because I was sitting there talking to Doug and came back with 5 of these little containers that looked kind of like shoe wax, right? And it was called Wicked Wax. And so we just put one in each of the prize packs. I sent them to Lefty, they shipped out. So then they became available on River's Edge Cutlery. I saw them and I grabbed a small tin of it. So used it, thought it was awesome, reached out to Fred because he remembered me from giving him that stuff because I told him I'd link him in any of the stuff that we used, but asked him if it'd be all right if I linked him in the video that I was going to do on it and make sure I was using it right. What's up, Mike Reese? But because the way I like to use it, and this sounds crazy, but I will take a knife and it's therapeutic for me. That's why I like to do it. But if I'm going to put a protectant on this knife, I will get the Wicked Wax. I ought to go grab it, but I'll put it on my thumb or on my finger, and by hand, I'll just massage it into the blade. And then when I get to the edge, I'll just push down like I would on a strop, right? So there's no way I'm going to have my finger coming back to where I'm going to cut myself on the blade. Then I'll flip it over and I'll do the same thing. I'll put Wicked Wax on this side. And then I've had enough built up so that I can then just go like this away from the cutting edge so that I'm covering the whole blade. Then I'll do the same to the spine. And if it's a fixed blade, I'll put a little on the tang. And then for some reason, because I'm weird, I'll let it sit for like a minute. And then I'll take rag and just take it off. And it leaves behind this thin coat. Well, the
Mhm.
latest thing that came out on River's Edge Cutlery that I picked up, and I reached out to Fred again and said, "Look, I'm going to make another video. Am I doing this right?" And I'm really, you're really supposed to use a rag to apply it. But again, I like to touch my blades. I know that sounds weird. I like to break down my knives, but the stuff called Wicked Clean is like, do y'all know what Flitz polish is? It comes in the
Yeah,
silver
yeah,
tool. It's kind of like a real thin version of that. So they call it Wicked Clean. It's still beeswax based, food safe, made in America, but it
mm,
you can rub it on your blade like if it's smutsy. I use it on slip joints all the time. Just rub it real thin and I'll still like to use my finger and I'll just rub it on the blade rub it on the other side, and then take one of my River's Edge cutlery or another one of my 1,000 cloths and just rub it off. And man, it'll get your blade so clean. And then I'll follow it up with the
Oh.
Wicked Wax. But that's just stuff I like to do. So I went on that ramble because you said earlier about the type of oil, and I've got every type of oil here you could ever want, more than I'll ever use.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's a good thing. And that's how I am pretty much too. I mean, it's gonna be now that I've learned that just and it's true. Like, and I didn't listen to people. Probably my first so I think I've been through one bottle of KPL and a half a bottle of the Blue Lube, and that's about as much oil as I've gotten through. I'm on my second bottle of KPL, but I learned after probably a gone through almost a whole bottle of KPL, uh, a little drop goes a long way, and it really does. And I used to kind of I'd go a little too crazy, and then when I started putting just a drop on my finger, like say we're talking about bearings, I might do like a drop on my pointer and one on my thumb, and that's good enough to
I
do
call
both.
that the lefty method because I watched him go from being just like me and putting drops around the washer to just doing it on his fingers and rubbing it on the bearing, and it does
Yep.
make a difference. You're exactly right, and you save your shit forever.
Ton, a ton. It makes a huge difference. And I use the KPL knife shield as far as real nasty type cleaning and
Chico
then
Bandito.
protectant. Yeah, I was gonna say, what's up, everyone?
I should be
Mark
putting
and
highlights up. Damn it.
Mark and Mikey Reese and Kresk, and I see everybody. Jeff, Louie, I see everybody. BNA, NFK, Gone Awry. What's up, brothers? BNA, everybody.
Kresk.
Cheeto, Kresk. What's up, everyone? What's happening? But what I've started doing, I used to do the same thing you're talking about, where like if I was putting on the knife shield to clean it and then use as a protector, I would spray just half a spray on my fingers and I'd wipe it on the blade, or I'd do like a half spray on the blade and use my finger and wipe it all around. And I would wipe it with a microfiber cloth real lightly. But then after a while, I started leaving it on there without wiping it off.
And it probably puts more protectant that way. Does it fade in?
Well, yeah, it settles. And like if I'm putting something away, like say I carry one of my spider coats, I know for real that I don't carry them a ton, like very often. So like if I get my Maximit out and carry it for a day or whatever, for instance, when I get home, I'll spray that stuff on there, leave it on, close it up, and then put it away. And then I know it's good. Uh for till I get it back out. And it's worked. Uh I have no spotting. Anything I put that knife shield on, I have no issues with corrosion. What's up, Crispy?
Mark, I kind of agree, and I'm gonna put something on it, and I'm not sure exactly which route I'm gonna go. It may be that I try the slick 'em all.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'm not saying that one or the other would be better. I'm just telling
You just
you,
haven't tried it, yeah.
yeah, I only what I've tried and what I've been told. I don't know if Lefty's ever used the Slick 'em all. He might have. Uh, but he uses the heavy KPL, but that's probably because he's got good access to the KPL. He gets boxes of it, cases of it. So that I would use that too.
Right.
Uh, so he probably don't have Slick 'em all, but if the Slick 'em all is how I think it is, it's a lot more. It's a thicker substance, and like who said it?
Like a real light
It
grease almost. It's almost like a light grease.
Yeah, it's like right in between a real heavy liquid and a light grease type of a deal. So I think I would go if I'm you, I go with the KPL heavy or the Slick 'em all. and that's what I would do as well.
Check this guy out that I got yesterday, and they're still in stock. I went with the crazy Damascus, but this is a Rough Rider Reserve. White Mountain
Ah,
has them, and so does Smoky Mountain Knives. But it's kind of, I guess you'd call it a sheep's foot, kind of a medium sized knife. But it came really sharp.
I
Micarta
wonder.
handles, denim micarta. It was about, I want to say they're $50 if you get the D2, and if you get the Damascus or whatever, it's like 71 before discount. And I go to White Mountain Knives and I always take advantage of my 10% off and free shipping.
Oh, oh yeah, of course. I wonder what their Damascus mix is. Like, what do
It,
they use? Is it
I'm sure
440
it's
and
I'm sure if you can, and I know nothing about steels, but I'm sure if the primary knife is D2, I'm sure it's some kind of D2 Damascus. But it looks really good. And the way I'll use it, I'm not going to be busting down a lot of cardboard with my slip joints. That's just not how I roll. I use them to cut
right,
stuff, fruit, things like that.
right?
But it looks really good. I think the pattern's pretty cool. And it may be not even a legit pattern. I don't know the difference in patterns and acid etchings. But
See,
it's got a
I've
really
never.
nice walk and talk. And this is my second Rough Rider Reserve. And they actually come. I've got this one, and I've got this big hippo toe, just because I thought
From,
it was whack.
oh yeah, I like that. I like that. That kind of reminds me of that one Finch that they did.
Right, the buffalo tooth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But these come in that tube, not, kind of like I
Mm.
guess they did in the old school. So you get a tube that says Rough Rider Reserve on it, and then you get the little wrapped up in a cleaning cloth. There's a little waxy piece of paper, like wax
Oh,
paper,
yep.
like they do the old ones in. And I just thought it was pretty cool packaging. This one's ostentatious. I can't imagine. It'd be good for hacking stuff up, and it is very slicey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Feels good in the hand, but it's just a different knife. But those are my two um, jumps into Rough Rider Reserve. So the way I look at it is I've checked out just enough to probably get a good feeling for what's good. Lefty convinced me, and I'm so glad he did, that this little Vanish is a great knife. Have you tried this yet?
No, I was planning on picking up the
Urban?
Sagaha version.
Let me tell you something, buddy. It is one of the best ones in my collection. And I'm not saying that just because Lefty loves it, but it's tiny. It's 20 CV. When I say tiny, I can still use it for everything I'm going to use a knife of this size for. It comes with, it's not a Joe slip, it's not a Troy slip, but it comes with a nice little QVIS branded slip just for
Uh-huh.
it because it's a small
Yeah.
little guy, and it's got great walk and talk for one hand open and closing. I don't want to slice my
Yep.
finger on camera. But yeah, and this one is still available at Blue Creek Knives. And Kevin said he preferred the black blade because it gives you better traction to open and close it. I haven't really noticed that because I use the hole, right?
Oh,
Even
yeah,
when I
yeah, right.
pull it, I pull off the
Yep.
hole. But the
Yep.
reason I was kind of attracted to it in the first place is I've got the first generation Vanish PE, the one that didn't have the top flipper. It was just a hole flipper.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
But that's a great little knife. So I've done the modern thing. I've got an Italian one coming on Monday. I've got the Fox Libri or something like that. And I've even got a little
Yep.
concept that doesn't even have a half stop, but it's just a great little pocket dropper.
Oh, so it's like my one case. It just goes from closed to open and
Yep.
then yeah. I
And
like those. I was saying the one day just having a variety is cool. Like they don't all have to have a half stop, you know. So I was cool with, if I have 10 of them, I'm cool with one or two not having the half stop just cuz I like checking
variety.
everything out. Yeah. Yep.
Well, I learned, Scotty, what's up? Timmy, what's up, Emma Ninja? Well, I learned from Pocket Metal, who's pretty much an authority on slip joints because he knows a lot about them. That, for example, these Bokers, and these the ones that I've been collecting lately. I've got 3 patterns now. These are the Tree series, but they're Smoky Mountain Knife Works exclusives in copper with tool steel. And this is has a very distinct half stop. And I've got a little club that has a very distinct half stop. But I bought a trapper from the same series, same micarta, same pattern, or not same pattern, but same materials, right? And it has no half stop.
Huh.
And he said that's normal. He said not all patterns, even from the same maker, are going to have necessarily the same action, as he called it, right? Which makes sense
Right.
because different
Yeah.
knives
Yeah.
require different things. Now, this will still stop at half if I push up on it. It's not going to go all the way closed because it's got tension on the spring. It just doesn't have a dedicated stop. So I found it fascinating. And I'm just, Lefty says, well, you really need to try Jack Wolf. You really need. I was like, no, dude. I'm telling you, I know how I am and my brain works. If I try one, I want to try them all. And that's just how I want to collect them, especially if they're as good as I remember them being when I handled them at Blade Show. I'd still love to see you
See,
jump into this
I've
one at some point.
Yeah, I have that in my cart actually. See, I'm kind of like you in the sense that I don't want to dive too deep. See, I got a Jack Wolf and it's better than Rough Rider, QSP.
Anything.
It's better than them. It is, but I've been able to. So I really wanted the big bro, and I still might get it at some point because they're in stock. They're staying in stock. Even if it's the micarta one, I'd be cool. But I know I just don't want to get too many at once, and then I know what it'll do. It'll send me down because I'll want to keep up with my locking folders as well. And then I will be buying those on top of, I'll be buying slip joints on top of the folders.
I
So I
know,
know
dude.
it'll take me down. So I've been able to get a variety of like Case, Rough Rider, QSP, Brother, Jack Wolf, and they're all awesome in their own right. Um, One that I was looking at, and it was mainly because of you, but I wasn't sure. Oh, you know what? That might be what I was going to ask you earlier. I still don't remember, but I was looking at a Boker uh on Amazon, but and it looks awesome, but it's like 130 maybe, like right
I know
around
which
in
one you're
that
talking.
area.
Yeah.
But it's D2 and I was like, man, like it's so good. I still almost want to get it, but it's in D2 and I'm like, damn, do I really want to? And I'm fine with D2, but I just don't know if I'm fine with it at that price or not. And I know it's probably finished a little better than your average cheaper Chinese D2, but it's still D2, you know?
Go.
And I just have a hard time when you can get a brother with VG10 for under 40, or you can get a QSP in a hedgehog in M390 for 130, 140. You can get 14C28N on a hedgehog for what, 60, 70.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's hard for me to justify the D2 at that price, but the slip joint looks amazing and I really want to try it.
Well, if you get a chance, and they've got all prices, and I'm not pushing Smoky Mountain Knife Works, but that's where I found they don't just have the tool steel ones on sale for $99.99, and they started out as $150 knives. They've also got an exclusive series that's in a different type of micarta with either 440C blades or N690. So, um, if you go to Smoky Mountain Knife Works and just search Boker slip joints, here we'll go there real quick now.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you to look up this fixed blade I just got today too. It's supposed to be here tomorrow.
What'd you get, dude? I haven't gotten a fixed blade since I picked up my luck from Lefty. My
See,
luck
that's
knives fall.
that's another thing. Fixed blades, I'm the same way with I try to be the same way with fixed blades that I am slip joints because there was a time where I like you, this was like a year ago though, but I got into this thing where I wanted to try a ton of different size fixed blades, brands, like all that stuff, and I ended up with a bunch. And so that kind of well, the locking knives, of course, has taught me a lesson, but I can't get out of it. But the fixed blades, I fell into a freaking rabbit hole snagging them. So I try to spread out when I get a slip joint and or a fixed blade. I try to spread it out, from each other. That way I'm not gonna fall like you can find yourself falling in a hole before you even realize it.
Absolutely. And Mark, I have not experienced one of those yet. And I don't have the only locking knife that I have that's a back lock is a Buck 110. Um, can you see these on the screen?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so this is these are where I've been kind of falling in the rabbit hole, right? I picked up I think the trapper, the little and over time, not all at once, the little this is called the what's it called? I forget. This is the club. This is the Barlow. But then you also can get them in Canvas micarta, the single blade trapper, for example. And I don't know what pattern you were looking at, but a Stockton, a club. Are you looking at doubles or single blades? Yeah, that's
Singles.
what I look at. So I don't know what pattern you're looking at, but these guys are a good value if you can find a pattern that you like. I don't know if I have this one yet.
Let me see. Let me hop on and I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, I'll let you share it. I'll stop sharing because I know people, and that's when I need to do a poll in the community tab because what I've tried to do is space out as now I'm going into my long term kind of feelings, reviews, and what I think about the knife, would I buy it again if I lost it type of thing. I'm trying to
Yeah.
go slip joint, modern folder, fixed blade. Slip joint, modern folder, fixed blade. You know what gets the most views and the most comments? Fixed blades.
Fixed blades.
By a
Yeah, I've
long shot.
noticed that too, man.
By a long
Yeah, it's
shot.
weird. Yeah, it's weird. I put out a dumb uh and this was early on, and I think it's close to 1,000 views, which ain't much, but for me it is.
That's a lot
Uh
of views.
it's an SE4. I'm out in the yard. The camera angle's horrible. The
Hey
video
Byron, we're just
quality is
on to right
horrible.
before Edgy starts.
The audio is, pretty horrible. But there's like almost 1,000 views, and I'm just like testing an SE4, like hacking some wood up and, just doing various things with it. And then I pause it and talk a little bit about it for a few minutes, but that's one of my best videos. It's
Hey,
insane.
well, I mean, it probably appealed to a lot of people. And Byron, we're
Yeah.
glad you're here, buddy. Todd, I agree with you. I've always been totally opposed to slip joints. And I remembered, and I said this in my first unboxing that I've got one. I had a traumatic experience as a child that I think I'd kind of blacked out of my memory. But when I was about 8 years old, my dad had slip joints, and he had a lot of the ones that had a big blade on one side and a little pin blade on the other. And one night he was sharpening them in his little study, and I was down there with him, and he was going to go up and get a beer or something, and said, "Hey, don't mess with the knives." And I went in there and played with it, and it closed on my finger. The little blade did. So I had a pretty nasty cut. And
Yeah.
I can remember my mom being kind of freaked out. And now knowing the dynamic of a marriage with a small child, I can see it. But I can remember my dad being so pissed at me. So not only did I have a cut finger, I got an ass chewing. So I think there are a lot of reasons that I just was like, I don't need slip joints. Non locking knives are no good. But after watching people really enjoy them, I felt like I should just at least try them out, right? Give them a go. And that's why I bought that one Ohio River Jack, A, to support Austin because I think he's a super nice guy. And I like to buy from traditional pocket knives when I used to buy Finches, but there are not a ton of knives there that are in my wheelhouse. I have bought a couple of really good
Right.
fixed blades from MW Steelworks out of Pendleton, South Carolina. What's up, pizza operator? Howdy.
What's happening?
Dylan Grace Blade Company. I need to do a quick search of that.
I found that Boker I was talking about, and I
I'm
was
gonna show
wrong.
me.
It's not D2, it's 440C.
Yes, that's
That's what it
good.
is.
That's good. Do not be scared of that or for little slip joints at all. That is good enough for Buck. It's good enough for us.
It's true. That's a
And if
good point.
let me look at it. Can you share it? Hold on. Let me pull this. Finish my search on this back page so I can come back to you.
I shared it, but I don't know
Here it
how
is. It's right here.
to.
I just got to bring it up. Boom.
Oh, okay. See, dude, I love that bolster.
You
I
like the
mean,
shiny? That's a beautiful knife, dude.
dude, it's
Can you zoom
sweet
on the
looking.
micarta handle? I think it's that got that real nice fabricy looking. Yes.
It says, I don't know if that's the right.
Wood scale.
See,
It's
this
that's
one.
that's a Glendale wood.
Okay, okay. So you
Because if
know
you're
this.
looking for a different one, just copy the Boker EDC Barlow traditional slip joint and drop it in the
Uh,
search. If you saw micarta before, because they do have several different handle materials. I've noticed looking at them. I like the wood, and I do not yet have one that's made out of wood. So that might be something else I have to pick up. Gotcha
yeah,
thing,
dude.
Steve. What's up, buddy?
I don't
We
either.
just jumped on for a quick impromptu before we get on and go support our brother Shane. You'll see a lot of nice ones, dude. And there's some that are like made out of castlewood that are rabbit hole stuff. Like look at that integral for 343.
Yeah, dude. Even this Boker Plus right here. I mean, I like the looks of it. You know, it's just
Yes, I've
cool.
looked
It's
at and
stubby and
there's several different micarta handles. There's several in the 99 range and there's several in the 300 and something dollar range. So it's bizarre on how they jump around and it all has to do I've learned from just talking to people like Pocket Metal is where the handle material salvaged from, right? They're not as much of blade steel people like Tucson and some of the others are because they know the 440C's proven over time. I guess O1 tool steel's proven over time for what its intended use is, right? It just goes
right.
back to everything's different for what you're trying to use it for. So I would not be at all scared of 440C because those when I would go to Smoky Mountain Knives and just do a let's see if we can find that one you were just looking at.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't mind. See, the wood's cool because I don't have much at all. I think I got a cheap Watchman or Brother in wood, and then I got a Civivi.
So you're liking the
Uh,
Barlow style. That's what that one with the
well,
long bolster. But let's see if we can find it because I've seen several just like that on here.
I like that style. I'm
Well,
not opposed to very many of the styles. I like most of the ones that I
I'm not
see.
dropping you in a $380 one, but look at that.
See,
Damasteel.
that's so clean looking. I love the extra long
Yeah.
bolster.
That's part of that Barlow from what I understand. Let's find one
Oh, okay.
that's uh that's more economical. This is just a
Still badass.
this totally badass. Trying to find that
See,
440C. I think that might have been it. That's Curly Birch.
see, if you can go, I was gonna say that a Jack Wolf is definitely worth picking up. But beforehand, and it's the same thing I had to do
You want me to
with
tell the one
myself.
I want? Go ahead.
Well, what I had to tell myself was that it is gonna be without even handling it. See, now Lord Needham sent me one of his, and it was the Venom Jack, and it was great, and it's better than everything else. And so what before I bought my own, I was like, this is gonna be better than everything I have, you know, as far as fit and finish and build quality and all that stuff. But I told myself it's gonna be better, but you don't need to start looking for. Did Javon leave? You there, dude?
I'm here,
Oh,
but
there you are.
I've screwed up.
Oh, you're good, man. I looked down, then I looked up, and you was gone. I was like, oh
No,
shit.
I messed up and I've got us echoing. Hold on, you keep going.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Basically, just not to fall into the rabbit hole of getting Jack Wolf knives and going out and hunting for the damn things. I, I'm not worried about falling in a hole of collecting all the Jack Wolves. Number one, it's too late. If I was gonna do that, I should have started with the first one. So that being said, it was easier for me to accept not getting a bunch of Jack Wolf knives, basically. If since I didn't get the first one, and then I haven't gotten any but the low drag, which is number 10 or whatever, it's easier to not want to fall into that hole because some of them are going to be impossible to get or very hard to get or very expensive. And if there's a pattern you see that did come, you know, over the last year or whatever, he's going to be doing them all again in just different variations. So, if you see one you liked and you miss it or can't get it, they're going to be coming around again, just a different variation at some point. So, that was my thinking on keeping the brakes on the Jack Wolves.
I figured it out. I opened another window, so I had double me's in here, and I was hearing you echo. I don't know if we put the audience through that, but I apologize, guys.
Oh, you're good, dude. You're good. I was just reading that.
Richter knives. Let me pull that up.
Richter knives.
I
No,
mean,
I
there's so
don't
many
know.
great slip joint makers out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's kind of one thing I've done a couple slip joint videos, but I have another one I'm working on writing everything for. But that's one thing I talk about in it. Like, it really just depends on where you want to be in your price range. But even all the way down to, I mean, you could go down to really cheap ones, but let's just say 30 or 40 is your lowest that you want to go. I mean, you can get a badass slip joint in that price range. Now, you can get some garbage, I'm sure, in that price range as well. But you can get some Rough Rider reserves. You can get some brothers. Uh, might be able to find some cases in there. Now, I'm not a huge case fan. Now, I have two of them, maybe three. The one's a double joint, and then I think I have two singles. And they're good. They're just not as good, I don't believe anyway, as Brother or Rough Rider. But that's just my opinion.
Sharp guy, that's a nice slippy. I've heard that. Again, I've never experienced one, but now that they're available in my
Oh yeah.
brain, I've kind of thought about that, and I've also seen, and I don't know anything about it, but Zero Tolerance makes a little one that looks like it's a direct competitor of the proper. Have you seen the little Zero Tolerance slippy?
Is it the Jen's Anso design? Is it
Uh,
like
I'm
I,
not
I
sure. Let me
might
see if I can find it here. Hold on.
I want to say if that's the one I'm thinking of, it's a Jen's Anso design. I'm with Twang Thang though. That's the other thing that always kept me from getting real into Jack Wolfs is they was all being done M390. And I'm just, I like M390. If I didn't have a ton of them, ton of knives in it, I might have been more inclined to get into them. But it was when he made the switch to S90
90V.
is is when I was like, okay. And then I saw he did one. No. the low drag was the first one in it, I
That's the
think,
one I
wasn't it?
want. I'm getting ready to show you. I'm gonna pull it up on the screen
Dude,
because it's still available. I like the micarta too. Look at that.
even yeah, dude, it's so sweet. I got the Jungle Wear Fat Carbon, the green. It's it's badass. It's some of the best carbon fiber, that I've
See,
seen. But
and if I bought
even
this, I would have to get one in carbon fiber too because I saw this in the green. It was available for a while. I don't think it is anymore.
can you look at it, the green, the Jungle Wear, dude, it's so sweet. No,
It's
it's
not that one. It's the next. It's this one right here. I was just seeing. I knew there was
oh,
one
there
that
you go.
was still available. Oh, this is still
Dude,
available too, dude. It's still
y-
available.
dude, it's
I
so
can't
like
right now.
that picture, like
Does
if you
not do
think
it
that
justice.
looks good, it's so much. I mean, it's really, really good shit. But that's probably my favorite design that he's done yet. Yeah, I like the Venom because it's a warnie, but I have other slip joints that are warnies and tons of knives and warnies. That blade shape right there, I don't have like anything that
No,
quite
it's
is
so
like that.
unique.
But dude, I was testing it out some on like cardboard and different kinds of cardboard and just a bunch of like random shit just to see, and the way that that is designed, if you start your cut down there close to the tang, the way it's designed and the way that belly is and everything, it just holds you in that cut. You don't got to really worry about slipping out of stuff, and like it's awesome. And then you got that belly and that little tip to do any like piercing type tasks. Like it's a awesome setup, man. It's my favorite one yet.
All right,
The
hold
one
on.
thing I
I'm gonna quit sharing.
the one thing I don't have yet. Now I do have a trapper with a two blade, but I don't have a clip point that is, and that's why I wanted the big bro. S90. It's a clip point. It looks badass, and that's why I'm thinking about getting one because it's a clip point. And once I get that, I'll have the major blade shapes that I like, and now after that I can get choosy on which slip joints I'm buying because I already have, at that point I'll have the blade shapes I like and want and a variety of slip joints. So uh I can be a little bit more choosy, but I really want to try a Boker too. I want to get a clip point and I want to try a Boker. So
Well, if you're not
the
opposed to tool steel, I can show you on well, you can get one for 99 bucks if you want to try one that's built very well. This Barlow, if you like that style, I think they have two. They might not have, let me see. Poker.
Patty, what's up, dude? How you doing, buddy?
Let's see right here.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you, Patty, as far as the proper and
Patty, what's going on, buddy? Welcome.
the proper looks good, but for the money, I'd probably get something else. I'd probably go with a Jack Wolf or I'd grab two other slippies.
That one doesn't have the shine and it's going to patina, but that's the one I've got. One of the ones that I got on sale.
I like that one
And it's,
also.
O1 tool steel, acid etched.
Ooh, really? Canvas micarta, smooth
Oh
micarta.
yeah. Dude, I picked up two others. This is the last one that I picked up from them, but I picked up the club first, and they're all the exact same Smoky Mountain Knives exclusive deal, but they're on sale for 99 bucks. The only thing is if you look at all of their slip joints, you'll see that they've got other patterns that you can get in that 440C if you prefer that.
So what's the options? 440 and D2 pretty much.
I
And
don't see D2
690.
on here. Yeah, like if when I'm looking at the like these $99 Smoky Mountain exclusives, that aren't tool steel. See, this has got like a tighter micarta than that
Yeah, I like
burlap
that
looking.
though.
And
Yeah,
then this is N690, I think. Let me see.
it probably is.
N690. Yeah, this one's
Yeah.
N690, but the other one's 440C, and it's a Smoky Mountain Knives exclusive. Like if we look at one of these little guys,
See, I'd
like
probably go if you ask me D2, N690 or 440, where would I go? I'd probably go with the 440. Well, heat treated 440.
yeah, and I don't know, even though it comes from Germany, I don't know how well it's heat treated, right? That's the only thing I'm really not
Yeah.
aware of. Because
You
again,
know,
I don't use them much, and they came. I will tell you, they did come dull, where I had to sharpen them. When I was happy to do it, right?
right.
But I have a feeling I'm going to try to wrangle this load drag jack
Uh,
jungle carbon fiber. I'm doing a.
Dude,
I don't,
it's sweet, man. You'll be happy with it. But just prepare yourself, to kind of stay in the
some,
mindset of you don't need to get all of them. You don't need to collect them.
and I
Get
don't
the
think
ones.
I'm not sure if
Yeah,
I necessarily need one right now, just because I'm enjoying the ones that I have, and it might be one of those things, right, where it makes me not appreciate the ones that I'm currently liking, like my Rough Rider might not feel as cool, or because I've put it up against something else. I know how that kind of made me tactically not as appreciative of some of my other knives when I started bringing other knives in, right?
right, right. But you still see, you're similar to me where I think you could initially feel that way, but I think within short time, you'd be like, well, this is a $40 knife and it is done very well and I like the aesthetic, it's comfortable. You'd be able to put things back into perspective. And that's one thing I try to always preach on my channel is to keep things in perspective, you know. I don't want to compare
Hey,
this
Junior Mint.
$40 brother slip joint to my $300 Jack Wolf. It's just
No,
not
nor
even
should you.
yeah. So that's been able like I've still been able to after I got a Jack Wolf buy two or three two slip joints that I like a lot, especially the Warncliffe brother. Now I like the drop point. I just opened it today, but that Warncliffe brother uh, in VG10 and carbon fiber literally blew me away for $34 or 35 bucks, whatever it was. It's just phenomenal. And then I had quite a few guys say that and Patty was one of them. That brother is really good. They're great. Their knives are great for the money, which I kind of figured as I went along here, but a bunch of people were raving about that Warncliffe, and then a couple guys picked one up after I did, and they like it a lot. So it's good. Like you're more like me in the sense that you can keep things back in perspective because you can still appreciate just like the Migron Moirel. You can
Oh
still
gosh,
appreciate
dude.
that knife at 50 bucks. When something is good, it's good. It
Dude,
doesn't
this is as
matter.
good as the Chavez Street that I have. This Polonia or Polona, this is the one I just got. You might not have been on earlier when I showed it off.
Is
47
that the
bucks.
single stud? Oh no, that's the first new
This is
budget one they put out with. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's got
Yep.
a real tall flat grind blade. It weighs 2 ounces more than my or 2/10 of an ounce more than my Chavez Street. And it's chunky.
Wow. Titanium pocket clip, right?
Yep, it's got the titanium clip. It's made just like the Moirel 14C 28N blade. Super
Yep.
slicey. And again, it feels when I put it in my hand next to my Chavez, I did this earlier. This isn't the full size Chavez. This is the street.
Oh, okay, okay. I was gonna say, damn, it's that big.
No, it's the
But yeah,
same
okay,
size as the Moirel and the other, but it's very. I mean, if you look
similar.
at the handle, yeah, it's got the same, very similar profile. It feels, if you're looking for, and I've had people say, yeah, it's a good knife, but they're just so thick. And if you're thinking about it, something that's going to disappear in your pocket, yeah, you suffer a little bit of carry comfort for a thicker knife. But if I'm looking for a use knife that I'm going to be able to
Mhm.
kind of bang on, I don't mind that
Yeah.
extra heft. It makes it more comfortable in my hand. It makes it, I mean, you could murder cardboard with this. I would imagine you could feather stick, or to quote Ray Ray, feather some sticks with this bad boy.
See, I agree, Cheeto. My thing is those all are like excuses to me. Like pretty much when I wake up, I know what I'm gonna be doing that day for the most part. You know what I mean? And if I know that I don't have work and I might be going hiking up a mountain, I'm probably gonna take my bug out or something real light. My point is everything has a use. So, saying that's thick is kind of like sometimes I like a real thick handled knife, or even a thick blade and they all have their uses, and to hold yourself to just one, like it's got to be point 0.4, or I'm not getting it type of a deal, or it's got to have the perfect ratio, you're going to miss out on a lot of good stuff. Everything has a use case. Even some of like the stuff that I won't carry, like this one Ganzo knife. I found a use for it. I never was carrying it, but now what I've been doing for the last year is I clipped it on my work backpack, and that's where it lives, and it's come in handy a bunch of times now, where before I never carried it. Everything has a use case, and you can always find a place for something if you really want to, whether it's a backpack, a vehicle, a toolbox, a drawer, like a junk drawer knife or whatever. You can always come up with something for that knife.
Yeah, and I mean, you might have an urban EDC carry need, kind of like I do, or when I go camping. I mean, I don't carry my cold steels like my 4Max, my 8010, or my 8015 often, but when I go camping or go in the woods, I've always got one with me. And the 4Max
Right.
stays in my truck. So it's just a big banger that they're fun to use when we get to use them, but again, it's not something I carry on the regular. And I do
Right.
appreciate like my Mallory Forest because it's so thin, or my TRM or my Bug Out because they're great
Right.
carry knives. But I do like to carry a chunker, every now and then, a Hinderer or a heavy ass Chavez, or my
Yep.
Jaeger, or something, like my GOM that's just a little heavier.
Yep. I'm with you, man. I see, and that's part of why I love so many knives, have so many knives, is because I'm not real. I like I like every lock. I like almost every handle material. I like pretty much every blade, normal blade shape from sheep's foot all the way to a clip point blade. So I'm not real picky when it comes to, and I'm, a little thicker, a little thinner, a little taller, a little shorter. Like none of that stuff bothers me one bit, you know. It just I like a little bit of everything.
I agree, Timmy. All knives matter. And everybody has
Yeah.
different profiles and should enjoy the stuff that they've got. And that's what it's all about, right? I think
Yep.
it's just good to lift each other up and help each other discover new knives. That's all I try to do on the channel, is just show different things, because I remember how important that was to me, because I wasn't the guy who was going to cut. And I love watching cut tests. I love watching Stasa and watching Jared test knives. But again, it's not something, unless it fails horribly, that's going to be a determining factor for my needs. But I love
Right.
watching people overview knives because it makes me think, do I want to take the chance on buying it, right? It's still a crapshoot, but I'll be 100% honest. I have been so lucky in the knives that I've decided, from the Civivi Elementum to the CRKT CEO to the Penguin from QSP. I'm thinking about my earliest knives that I bought because of reviewers just showing them to me, not telling me how awesome they were. A lot of the Kaisers I would have never bought that I purchased if I'd listened to reviewers, the early Kaisers, the Blade series. Dwayne Letterman, but
Mhm.
I've been blessed to be exposed to knives that I never would have been. So that's all I hope to do is expose people to knives. They're not all going to be, knives that everybody wants because we all have different wants and needs, right?
Right. Yep.
Well,
Yep.
G, you
Di-
think we should cut it short here shortly since we got we'll go a few more minutes because we got Edgy American that we're all going to jump over and watch him be shirtless and crazy with Grateful Panic here in about 30 minutes.
Yeah. Whenever. How many people do we have in here?
I can't tell. I don't know. It's not showing on my. Let me go to YouTube. I mean, we can stay right up to it. I know people want to have time to at least pee and do their good stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. We can do whatever you want to do. I was gonna tell you though. I just unboxed this today too.
One Moon, I
It's
can
the.
weigh you a Chavez, but I don't have a J Cape. But I did today as part of my Amazon delivery that brought me my Watchman. I didn't mean to interrupt you, G Ball. Go back to your thought. Don't lose it. But I got a little scale in for the channel so I can weigh
Oh,
knives.
nice.
That's an awesome knife right there.
It's that new CJRB Echo. I went with the liner lock instead of the button lock. And dude, it's a freaking banger knife, man. The so everything from the blade finish to the edge to the swedge up here, it's not you can kind of see it in the light, but from the swedge to the jimping on the front flipper, the pill-shaped hole, the pocket clip is, it's just fine for its price point. The green micarta is the smoother stuff, but it's well finished. The detent is absolutely like dialed in perfectly for a hole and a front flipper, and
Where'd
it's
you
a
buy
Ray
that one?
Laconico. Dude, I got this on Amazon, and the last that I looked, when I was looking up specs on it, they still had a few in stock of the liner locks. They also have the button locks too.
I like the liner lock because I've got the button lock pyrite and just to
Yep,
have something different for the.
that's yeah. See, I just got this one, man, the other day, and I love
I'm
it. I
glad you did, buddy.
replaced.
We're just on till we're gonna all be jumping over to Edgy American shortly. Hope you join us, Luke 10.
You see that I
That pyrite.
changed the yeah, I changed the standard pocket clip. It's a 3D milled DLC coated titanium clip from Civivi. Fits perfectly on the knife, man. It looks like it was supposed to come that way. It fits perfect. It looks so and I have a stone washed one too, but I'm keeping that on the one Civivi, but it matches my stone washed drop point pyrite like to a T. So if you get on Amazon and you see the Civivi titanium pocket clips, they'll fit your pyrite and match very well.
Dude, I've been waiting for because I heard that they were gonna release the Warney with titanium scales. And I've been trying to hold out, even though I don't know why. The steel's just as nice. Um, But I love that knife, and I love the way that clip makes it look. Because I've seen those clips on Amazon. I just wondered. I didn't have any Civivis really to put them on because I've gifted most of those out. Most of my Civivis have been depleted. But if it
I don't
fits
know.
the CJRBs, that is sweet.
I don't know where the hell I had my oh, it's sitting right here in front of my face. I have the drop point as well. It with a stone washed and G10 blade. So there's the original pocket clip that would have came on the
Hmm.
black one, but it's just stone washed in this case. Or
And that's
no.
what came on my titanium .5 that I got from Atlantic Knives, which was such a drag dealing with those people.
Look at the difference that 3D milled titanium clip makes on it just looks so much cleaner,
It looks
so
much
much
more
better.
refined. Looks much more fun.
F- fits perfect. But I still love, the drop point is every bit as good as the Warncliffe. It just depends on, do you like a hole? Do you like studs? Which blade shape and which deployment do you like better? Either one's gonna be, I was raving about the drop point pyrite back when they first came out a couple months ago, and I didn't hear many people raving about it, and it took a little while, but even back then I knew how good this was for $60 or whatever.
Check this out. I'm going to share these Pelorias in case you guys are interested because White Mountain still has them in stock. And then I'm going to let G-Ball wish y'all well as we get ready to head over to Shane. But check these guys out. $47.96 before discount. That's the black one I got. There's a black and
Damn.
black.
So what does that come down to with the 10%? Like 42
You're
bucks or
taking four. Yeah, if you're taking $4, almost $4.80 off of that.
damn,
But I
that's a good
mean,
ass deal.
dude, I'm telling you, there's nothing at all that I've been able to find except for the thickness, and I find that not as a negative. I find it kind of as a positive. It just feels like a beefy knife. 14C,
Right.
28N, and let's see the pyrite.
Metal Complex says, now I agree on most of the idea, but he says, or he believes that the budget ended Megarons are better as far as price and knife are than the premium Megarons. Uh, all the Megarons that I've had, I have a couple premium ones and I have a couple budget ones. They're all freaking the value that you're getting for what you're paying. Uh, Megaron is an AM8. Their sister company is
Yeah,
phenomenal.
that's the ones
They
that I've got. I've got two AM8s by Miguron. I
yeah,
bought them off
same,
Miguron's
yeah,
website,
yeah,
but they're both. I've
same
got the
shit.
Flicks and the Gladiator. Look,
Oh,
they
did
say
you
it.
get the flicks?
I do. I've had that. I love that knife. I hear these are good too. The Largo.
I know, dude. I almost got one of those too. I asked, uh, might be Michael
Okay.
Morgan or
The
somebody.
Echo is what it's called, right? The Echo liner locks, which you were just showing me.
Yeah, dude, it's sweet.
I'm gonna
So,
go to
so good.
Amazon.
So, so good, man.
All right.
And look around because there's different listings, I think, for it, maybe. Because,
There are. Amazon, I've gotten pretty good at navigating. I've only gotten screwed
yeah,
on there. Guys, I still never got, of course, my Vox that I bought, friends and family from a total stranger off a legit website. It's just nuts. Dude,
what
that was the biggest
website?
shame. It was called they've been taken down now, but it was called when you Googled Vox Chillin', and I'm in digital marketing. If you Googled Vox Chillin' F8, they were like the fifth site that would pull up. So Google was giving them an organic, this is a good site. So you clicked on it, and if I'd have paid more attention, because it was real early in the morning, like 5:30, I would have caught several red flags, huge red flags. But they had the titanium for $88, first red flag. And
Oh,
then when I went to check out, it was friends and family to some dude named Michael, which most people would have backed up then. I was still asleep, so I went through with it. And immediately afterwards, I got this confirmation for this weird silverware shit that was like multicolored rainbow. And I was like, oh shit. So I contacted PayPal like within 5 minutes. There was nothing they could do. So basically just got scammed and it was on a legit site, but I should have known better. I mean, if I'd have been conscious, because I buy a lot of my knives asleep, as weird as that sounds, but if I'd have been conscious, I wouldn't have made that mistake. So I think the easiest way to stay out of that, Autumn Wind, what's up? Is don't, if it sounds too good to be true, if the price is too good, there's probably a reason. So check and double check.
yeah, right. So I'm surprised. So PayPal couldn't put
No, because it
like a
was friends and
hold on.
family. No, and it wasn't, it was 98 bucks. Let me see if I can pull it up again. If I go Vox, because for a while it was still pulling up on images, and then when you clicked on it, it said you couldn't get to that site. Let's see if
Yeah,
Google's
because
unindexed it.
the
Uh,
chillin' and titanium's like double that, isn't it?
yes, it is double
Or
that. I should have known
close.
better. It was called Knife Fox, and it's gone. Google has unindexed them. There's Vox Knives.
Man,
Yeah,
that's
because it's not on
horrible.
there anymore. Well, and it was funny, not funny. It was just buyer beware. Tri-State was, how he shops on his lives. He came across a site totally different, selling totally different knives, but it was the exact same people. And what was odd about them, if you look closer, another red flag is every knife on their site was under $100, no matter what knives you look through. And the site, since I fell victim for the first site, when you looked at the pictures, when I went back closely and looked at the pictures, they were taken off Blade HQ site. They had the little faded B behind them.
Oh no, really?
Dude, it was a total. I should have. Yeah, but it was friends and family Twain thing. I mean, I can try to get it, but I think because I friends and family that I'm kind of screwed. But we'll see. But guys, we need to break out of here and get ready for Shane. I promised him I would not run late, and I hope everybody goes over there and see what's coming up there. Since
Yeah,
G-Ball and I accidentally went live trying to do our recorded G-Ball thing once, we don't need to do Shane like that.
we don't want Shane coming in here crying, guys. Trust me, we don't. I think
Alligator tears.
he might
Alligator
finally
tears.
be over that. I heard about it for like 2 weeks, man. I think he finally maybe put it to bed. I don't know. He's probably listening in secretly, but
Well, guys, go over there and give him some love, and I'll see y'all in the chat. G-Ball, you got anything to say? I know you got something coming up.
nope. Love y'all. Tomorrow I have a live my typical
That's what I meant.
My Monday evening live stream, probably 5:15 Eastern, PM Eastern. Have as good of a Monday as you can. Mondays suck, but
They do, God. I look forward
that's
to. I missed the first
that's
hour of yours, but if I can make it till 5, I always feel like I've accomplished something. But I start
yeah. Well,
traveling Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and it's just like, fuck.
right. Yeah, and
Hey, glad you're here, Scotty.
that's one thing I like about doing the Monday night live or the Monday evening live is because Mondays just suck, and it's good to have that live and everybody can kind of come hang out or whatever after a shitty Monday.
I enjoy it, and I look forward to joining Pocket Metal the nights I get to join him at 9
Oh
o'clock,
yeah.
even though I shouldn't stay up that late. But it's just gives me something to
Yeah.
look forward to because it is such a drag. But guys, thank you guys for stopping by. Look out for the guy or gal to your left. Look out for the guy or gal to your right. Move forward with love in your heart. Choose debate over hate. Till we meet again, I love you all. G Ball, I love you, buddy. Be good.
Love you, brother.
Y'all
Later,
be good.
guys.